Hi guys, and welcome back to the Pildora channel. Today we are interviewing our first Pildora Pioneer model activist, Brana Dane. So the Pildora Pioneer program is our ambassador program, and we have chosen conscious leaders and innovative thinkers like Brana to join us on our journey and on our revolution in sustainable fashion, to help guide us and to join us at our events and to be part of this whole movement. So thank you for being our first Pildora Pioneer. We're so excited.
Hey, I'm happy to be the first Pildora Pioneer. And I just have to say it's inspiring that you're putting on this program and encouraging people like me, influencers, to better partake in the movement to, heal the planet.
So today we're going to make some matcha and we're going to have some chats about Brana and her work in modeling as an activist and a little bit of her thoughts on sustainability as well. So let's get started with some matcha.
Let's do it.
What you want? You could, I guess, go first. I can scoop if you want.
So it's my first time.
I recently discovered I love oat milk.
Cheers.
So let's get a little more background on you. I'd love to know about where you're from.
I'm an only child, if you want to go back that far. And I was actually born in Southern California, and then I grew up mostly in Vancouver, Canada. And then I went to school in Switzerland. And I came to New York City because I wanted a different lifestyle, I wanted more opportunities, and also for modeling.
You discovered sustainability since you were really young. That's something that was from Canada?
In Vancouver particularly, people are very into the environment and are very outdoorsy and connected more to nature. You can even just tell from looking at pictures of the city that you have the ocean right there, you have the mountains right there, and the way the city is designed, I feel like, is more in line with that. The Canadian education system also covered a lot of things like, kids, like when you go home, like turn off the lights if you're not using the lights when you exit the room. Speaking to people here who are educated here, it's not necessarily on their curriculum to talk about these things. I actually have an agency called JSW Models in Germany, and they are solely representing vegan models or people with like a big interest in sustainability, because they have so many clients versus in New York City. It can be very difficult to find regular work if you're just saying, oh, I only want to work with people who are sustainable. People, like it or not, look up to models as a type of role model in society, just like they do with celebrities. And so if you are using your sort of role model status in a way that is not contributing anything, solely promoting consumerism, then I just feel that your effect in general is going to be at best neutral.
So what are some of the projects that you're working on as a model activist?
Model Activist is a group of around 250 plus models, and we all come together on issues of social justice and to promote good things and good change in the world. So as a model activist, I am currently working on building our community. It requires dedication and regular meetings, and we do a lot of social media campaigns, blasting out their positive messages, especially about sustainable fashion, the environment. We did a march in DC. We all support each other also in our different projects that we're working on.
That's amazing. It's a great community.
Yeah. So I was able to give a speech, my first time speaking publicly, like not on camera, but like publicly in front of people.
Are you a good public speaker? You like it?
It was very nerve-wracking, but I loved it.
I think it's like a good energy. If you can like harness it in the right way.
I don't have to memorize someone else's lines. I get to say my own lines and really believe it and feel it from the heart.
And so what was your speech about?
It was about the work that model activists are doing. It was about how consumerism is driving, damage to the environment, and not only to the environment, but also to people's lives, the garment workers, how they're not earning a living wage, how they're being abused, how they're literally dying for fashion. It's so important to bring to light, I think, not only the planetary cost, but also the human life cost, because we all live on the planet and it's affecting the third world countries or developing nations, whatever you want to call it, first. They're feeling the brunt of the pollution and just the unlivable conditions that are happening in the world. You can't really feel good going into a store if you know 300 factory workers died in this factory because they wouldn't let them escape. You can have a glamorous life. You can have all these things you want. You just have to do it a little different so you're not harming people.
Yeah.
And I think that can be very powerful.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, you have kind of that platform to do it. So I think it's amazing that you guys are getting together to raise awareness about it, because people all around are not aware actually of these causes. It's so important to raise awareness and to make it entertaining, engaging, to make it beautiful, to make it artistic. And that's definitely something that we're trying to do at Pildora as well. The first moment of connection, I think, needs to be positive. People don't want to be preached at. And so I think beautiful people are a way to always make a positive first connection.
Yeah, exactly. That's the idea. And it's been fairly successful. So we actually did a big social media campaign about plastic bags in New York City. And, lo and behold, they're getting banned.
So you worked with FNL, you're an activist, and I know you're also an artist. ARTxFASHION, you did an amazing job painting that model. It was really awesome.
Thank you.
How did you get into that? How did you get into painting? And how did you get into painting human bodies?
I've been painting for many years, and I love painting figures, so interesting faces or body shapes. I've always had an interest in art. My mother kept dolly sketches in our home, and I used to just stare at them. I would just be intrigued by, I didn't really realize at the time, but the symbolism behind them and the creativity, and just it made my imagination go from there. It's really difficult in New York City to sit down and paint for 10 hours straight. And so I was looking into different methods to kind of express my creativity in a way that was less of an isolating experience. So that's why I was really excited when I had the idea to combine performance and art. I take different materials and I paint on top of the materials while they're wet, and it creates a nice texture. And then I take up-close pictures of the materials once they're dry on the body. And so the finished product from the performance is actually a print or an art piece. So it combines the two, fine art plus performance art. And that for me, that's the correct balance. And, I don't know if you could tell at the event, but I was kind of like getting into my zone. So it's really interesting when you're in a room like full of a bunch of people. Yeah. And you're just kind of like, oh, I don't care.
Music, yeah.
And you're like looking like, oh, I'm going to do a circle here. What should I do next? So it's a fun experience. I was realizing why I actually like to do the body. It's because as a model, you're kind of treated like an object a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So then it's kind of a reversal for me where I'm painting this model, but I'm treating it like an object.
Just like a role reversal. Yeah.
It's a weird role reversal that happens, and it's kind of therapeutic in a way as well.
So have you had bad experiences as a model?
I mean, overall, my experience has been positive as a model, but of course, people, I would consider this like a good job. It happened recently. I got booked for a major company, and the woman in charge was just basically telling me like, oh, you're flat, like you don't have enough up top. So she could have just asked me, did you bring a bra with you? And it would have been no problem, but instead, they go insulting as if you're subhuman. There's
definitely some sad stories in modeling.
Yeah, can be.
And there can be some great stories as well. Some people have some amazing things happen through modeling and use their powers for good, as we've been experiencing. But this brings me to something you were telling me about earlier of the first 100 signatures, which you were one of them for Victoria's Secret.
Model Alliance put out a letter addressed to the CEO of Victoria's Secret. I signed on just because I really do believe that they need more transparent casting policies so that these men associated with the CEO can't use that association to further their agenda to kind of lure aspiring models or models into compromising situations. And so that's kind of what the allegations have been. And so that's why I was happy to give my support and sign on and say, like, you know, this shouldn't be happening.
Victoria's Secret seems like a strange corporation that is continuing to function in a kind of archaic way, in my opinion. I went to the show last year, and I was really surprised because I thought it was going to be a little bit more like a fashion show, and it was really nice. It was like a big party. It was a lot of guys in suits. It just reminded me like a boxing match in Vegas, like that kind of energy.
It is weird because they're selling to women.
Well, hopefully everything that's going on with them is resolved. But I think it's great that you've signed on to that.
Thank you. Yeah, but you know, the problem is that it is kind of in a culture of abuse, of abuse of power in the fashion industry. And so that's why I became a senior ambassador for the Responsible Trust for Models.
Okay, so what is the Responsible Trust for Models?
They advocate for protecting the rights of models and creating like a universal standard of professionalism for models and clients and agents and everyone in the fashion industry so that we're all on the same page.
Sounds like you have so many projects going on, so many amazing things happening right now.
Thank you. I mean, you know, I try and be more focused, but I just can't say no to some things. I'm just like, yeah, I'll do this. Yeah, I have so many interests, you know?
Yeah. How do you incorporate sustainability into your everyday life?
As far as fashion, I buy a lot of secondhand. So for me, I think that that's actually, at this moment in time, a really great option because it's no new production. But some people say, well, it's creating a market then for, you know, fast fashion. But I don't think so. I think it's a good solution right now.
Yeah, there's so much out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And another major thing that I do is that I'm vegan.
Yes, that's huge.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So I think that right there cuts down a lot of waste.
How long have you been vegan?
I think about 2.5 years.
Was it hard, transition?
It was pretty difficult at first, but then actually I felt better and my digestion was better. I realized that I'm actually allergic to eggs and dairy. It was giving me eczema. Overall, it's been great and I feel better.
What's your favorite sustainable fashion brand?
I love Warp and Weft jeans. They just fit me well and they're comfortable and high quality.
And if you had like one sentence or your ethos, Brana's message, what would it be?
Well, I would have to say that culture is not static and we all have to be conscious of how we are creating our world every day.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Cheers again.
Cheers.
And thank you so much for joining us at Pildora Studio. Thank you guys for joining us in this delicious matcha making moment. And don't forget to subscribe to the Pildora channel. Bye-bye.